know how I do.
Song of the Siren disjointed the fight and came back in favor of Fnatic.
And we're back. Finally, game number 2 of our leadoff best of 3 of the day is ready to rock. Tinker down 1-0 to Na'Vi US after a very impressive performance from Na'Vi, and Ush in particular playing the one position Wraith King. And this is going to be played on US East, by the way. Lux unfortunately down pretty much for any purpose whatsoever, at least for now. And I'm not even sure how we're going to handle our next best of 3, so that very well could get moved. But for now, Tinker did agree, and they were not prompted. They actually offered of their own accord to play on USE, so we're happy to be moving ahead right now with, again, Game 2 of these two teams, and both making their debut in D2L play. I'm your host, Aaron AC Chambers, joined by Trout for the broadcast. And Trout, man, I got to admit, Ush is a player. I was actually just talking to Charlie while we were trying to resolve and wait for Fog's potential connection issues to go away and figure out what we're going to do with servers. And Ush, from what I understand, has been playing 6 months of competitive Dota and is 18 years old. I think he has a bright future ahead of him. Yeah, absolutely. He's a very solid player. And I think he'll have more of a home here in Na'Vi US. Obviously, he was playing for SNOF for quite some time. Things didn't work out too well. I would say they had some decent success. Like they were the underdogs going into ESL, but I still think they performed not too terribly. But yeah, we'll have to see how the rest of his time in Na'Vi US, if it is a for sure thing. It hasn't been like official, I suppose. But also, in the MJW standing in was a bit of a surprise to me. Normally, they're playing with Way Too Sexy, also a player that's not confirmed, but yep. I'm pretty sure he will be on that squad. Well, see, I was actually talking to Charlie about that, too. Charlie thinks Cupcake is Way Too. I was told that he wasn't. Okay, I trust you. I mean, I asked Snaking, so. Oh, well, yeah, I would say that's probably a little bit more reliable than a homeless person who sleeps at the office. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead. That's just me flaming Charlie. Everyone who heard that tweeted him and please tell him I flamed him. I love to see him get angry. There you go. I mean, his angry and happy face all kind of looks the same anyway. So yeah, Charlie does not have a big range of emotion. He's like a Dalek basically. He knows only hatred for you and for everything you love. Tinker with a Razor, Earthshaker, and Skywrath Mage pick to open things up, and Na'Vi US grabbing up the Drow Ranger, as well as an Ogre Magi and a Tidehunter. And I'll tell you, we've been seeing a lot of interesting things with the Drow Ranger pick across different regions and with different teams. I'm beginning to warm up to the hero. Like, Cloud9 in particular is the squad that always comes immediately to mind in terms of teams that have just consistently run it. But we've been seeing more of it here and there. We even saw EG run it. We're beginning to see her really penetrate on into the metagame a bit more, and that makes me happy because she's a hero that I always wanted to see more of, but I just wasn't convinced of. But more and more, especially if they decide to go ahead and pair it with a Venge plus Drow is just so good, and she is available right now.
Yeah, it is a little curious that they've picked Drow with without any other ranged heroes, and there's the Visage. So that's the classic combo. You also mentioned Venge, which is also fine in its own right, but I think that this one's just a little bit stronger, just because the birds getting the extra aura buff when you activate it is so damn good. Its global potential in that respect. So they don't have many other ranged heroes. Normally, you want to get the full effectiveness out of the Drow Ranger. It's getting ranged heroes that could benefit from the aura from start to finish.
Right.
And they only have 2 right now, so that's the only thing that's a little bit curious to me. But I still think Visage Drow is still strong. But I think the Drow Ranger is just picked up because it's actually quite good against Razor. You don't have to target Razor to get the Drow, the slow arrows, whatever the frost arrows on her.
Yep.
You can just it doesn't actually purge you, is what I'm saying, and I think that's quite effective against a hero like Razor.
Yeah, I mean the Razor pickup is I don't care what anyone says since the patch. I still feel like the hero is just so ridiculously strong. Not so much on his own, but because he makes any variety of lineups better just by being a part of them. He's a very reliable laner. He's an auto win in a lot of one-on-one situations, just literally an auto win, no doubt about it. And Axe, speaking of an auto win, how about a Culling Blade to the face? Looking forward to seeing a dunk or two as Tinker rounds out their lineup with the big red machine. But anyway, he's just so good in terms of he can add to team fight. He's excellent in push lineups. He's just so well-rounded. And I think that's how people are beginning to feel about the Ogre Magi as well. I mean, the hero just he's a Scottie Pippen hero. He makes everyone around him better. He has excellent damage potential if he is able to get a little lucky on the dice rolls and perhaps get up a scepter sooner rather than later. Excellent to lead off initiation. Great to disjoint initiation from the enemy if he's very quick-fingered. And that's what I think we're beginning to see now. It's like these heroes like Tide, like Ogre, like Razor, are almost always composing the front 2 on each side of just about any game, and then you follow it up with whatever specific stratagem you want to try to put into practice with your draft.
Dude, no one's going to get that Scottie Pippen reference.
Hey, I've been saying it for years, and every once in a while I get tweeted somebody got it, so I'm sticking with it.
No, it's badass. I love it. And Wind Ranger is the final pickup for Na'Vi US. And the Axe pickup is pretty good. It's kind of a double-edged sword because it's really good in like just trying to jump on the Drow Ranger and just get up in his face. Like that's one. It's kind of like similar to fighting up against a sniper. You just want to jump into his face and just be crazy aggressive, or else you're just going to get kited by the long range, or in this case, the slow arrows. And also, he's a direct counter, I think, to the Visage Birds, because anytime you get that call on and those Visage Birds are clumped up, they just die in a second. It's like
for sure
really, really good against Visage Birds. But if Fog is doing a good job about spreading them out, then it shouldn't be like, a game-breaking decision of having the Axe against the Visage. Also, I've never seen Fog play Visage personally. I don't know if you have, but I'm interested to see what he can do with this hero. Also, he might be having some lag, but it is on USC, at least for him. And I'm very disappointed that Ush has this horrible Drow cape. It just looks disgustingly ugly. So boring. No flair to it. Come on.
Yeah, the rest of the cosmetic set's okay, I guess. Although
that cape, man, is just nothing.
Yeah, I agree.
Is there even anything equipped? I don't think there is. Is there?
Nope, nothing in the cape slot.
That's why. Ugh.
What a filthy casual. This guy, do you even item Ush? I mean, it's obvious he cobbled this together from drops. Who does that? Go trade. Go spend all of your life day trading on the Steam market. Na'Vi trying to scout their own jungle. In the meantime, Tinker lets loose with an arrow, barely misses Fogged. So, nice attempt from Sing Sing, but comes up wanting. Bulba's going to be back on the Skywrath Mage for the second game in a row. Sing Sing, really not the best Brewmaster game. Not to say he necessarily played poorly, but a player of his caliber, you expect to get a lot more out of a hero like that, and was really just kind of flat. EGM will be on the Earthshaker for Tinker this time around. That Axe is going to be played by Pycat, and the Razor taken mid by Koikva. Other side of the river, it will be Fogged, as you mentioned, playing on the Visage. Wind Ranger played by Korok, who's actually taking her mid. Tidehunter going to be played by Snaking for the second game in a row. It's going to once again be Cupcake on this Ogre Magi, and the Drow Ranger going to be taken, at least for now, out into the off lane by Ush. And let's see if they want to actually try to get aggressive with this.
Yeah, they could just do a straight-up tri-lane with the Tide in the safe lane. But I imagine if they do go aggressive here, I think they need to be like kind of quirky in how they run at this axe, and maybe just go for a first blood and then transition into a standard like laning phase kind of thing. But for now, Pycat's here. He's got a DD actually standing here. Wasn't able to get aggro actually from the creeps, and that's a big deal. That's how you want to play that lane. Ush gets his frost arrows level 1, so not going to have extra damage for his ranged buddies and Korok and Fog. That's kind of interesting, but yeah.
Down at bottom, UGM being a bit of a nuisance, and Snaking trying to zone Sing Sing out, using that anchor smash to farm a bit. What do you think of the lanes? How do you think this is going to end up going in the long run?
I think this is fine for Na'Vi US. I'm just scared. Okay, there is a rotation from Skywrath. I'm scared that they're going to get like a lucky rune or a nice rotation and then just gank Visage, and then there's Visage is going to have to leave. As long as Fog doesn't die up here and keeps proper positioning, I think this is going to be really beneficial for Na'Vi US. Oh, and actually Korok is getting gone on, but he'll be fine.
In mid, yep, Korok caught with the fissure. Love that golden fissure from the golden gravel mob. BT dubs. As a support player, that's one of those expensive items that I've, in drunken nights, thought about actually spending money on, but have been able to hold off thus far. 2-minute rune's going to be coming up soon, and as you said, that's kind of what we want to watch for, is the runes to see if they're going to be able to pressure Na'Vi out. They're bringing EGM up. He will be spotted by the ward, so they're going to know he's there, and Na'Vi likely to play a little bit more carefully, at least for now. Down at bottom, actually, they just rotate Ush flat on out. He's gone all the way down to bottom lane now. It looks like Tide might hoof at the top.
Yeah, this is, I don't know, it's kind of interesting though, because Sing Sing's already got a decent time, got 5 CS under his belt, level 3. The supports probably won't rotate again. They're countering a ward, and they have the pull to work with, so this is going to be double stacked. Bulba's going to pull this. He's going to hit level 2.5 if he gets solo experience. Axe is getting solo experience, decent farm. Koikva's winning his lane, so they're basically winning almost 3 lanes right now. They're going to start to lose bottom, but I think this rotation is going to be beneficial for Team Tinker.
Sing Sing taking a bit of damage, but once again, the early game pretty damn calm. And we can see no spawn on the pull-through, so this will be a double wave that's going to be shoving out at this point towards Snaking and Fogged, and that's going to be a nice amount of experience for them. Cupcake just pinged level 2, so finally has a point in a Fire Blast. Feel like he's really suffering a bit in terms of levels. In mid, Koikva sitting at level 4. Korok is a little bit ahead of him in experience. How do you feel about this Wind Ranger pick? Hold on. Up at top, Snaking gets a good call on. There's going to be a beautiful fissure, and Snaking does manage to squeeze through. Didn't look like there was going to be enough room, but Pycat wants to dive it, and he's going to be diving deep. There's going to be a TP that comes in. Snaking is going to be able to survive, and now Fogged is there. Cupcake shows up. Doesn't have enough mana for anything, though. He's just kind of getting in the way at this point. Now he finally has enough mana for a Fire Blast, and First Blood drawn by Na'Vi US. I have no idea why Pycat thought he needed to dive that. I mean, it's a Tide Hunter with boots first. Like, even if he had caught him and clipped him a little bit more, I still don't think he kills him.
I think he kills him if he catches him, but there's no way he's catching him. He didn't have boots.
Yeah.
Like, he was already further ahead of him, and then he had boots, whereas Pycat didn't. So how does he expect to catch up? Like, magically level himself Battle Hunger and then run that way? He's TP bottom, he's smoked, and he's going to try to find an angle here. I don't think he gets this kill at all because his lane is pushed up unless Sing Sing leads up with a nice arrow, but this is going to be kind of awkward. They don't connect with this. This is a bunch of wasted time from Pycat, and they're actually bringing the supports down here. But they should see this out because Na'Vi US has a ward, so us should back up.
Looks like he wants to go now, and Pycat reveals himself. He's just going to hoof it.
They can
Going
go
hard, fissure.
Yep.
Not the best angle. Oh, I was going to say not the best angle, and the arrow mistimed. So Team Tinker struggling quite a bit here early on, as Na'Vi US maintains the First Blood lead. And now look at Snaking. Snaking right in the face of Bulba. He does not care to take some right click with 2 points into his Kraken Shell. Now Sing Sing's in trouble, and he doesn't have a leap. This is going to be the death of Sing Sing as Fog shows up, hits him with a Grave Chill, and takes it with one last auto attack. And Na'Vi US making this game, early game, work for them. And that's a couple of very costly missteps from Tinker.
That was pretty bad from Sing Sing, actually. Like, there's pretty much no excuse to miss that arrow. It wasn't like he knew fully well the fissure was coming. I know the duration's low on the fissure, But I mean, this guy, he prides himself on his bottom play. He should know the duration of the stun and how he needs to, when he needs to cast it. But that definitely should have been a kill on Ush.
And Pycat just continues the struggle. He dipped into the jungle, tried to take this camp. It was spotted by Korok, who stole one of the CS with a power shot. And then Pycat ran up, called him, then ran away. So he just continued to take auto attack damage. And then Korok finished off the camp that he had started and didn't take any HP loss. So things not going well for Tinker anywhere. Pycat looking to turn that around if he can get a call here. There's going to be EGM on the money with that. Fissure, and no way Snaking's out of this one. He tried to scoot by, but finally we see Tinker get onto the board. And EGM, I mean, he's been throwing relatively good fissures. The follow-ups have just been questionable. So if he can keep up, if he can keep doing what he's doing, and the rest of Tinker can shore up a little bit, they're going to be fine. And speaking of, Koikva right on the tail of Korok with that double damage, and there was an Ogre there, but deciding not to repeat Pycat's mistake and dive too deep.
Well, Pycat's sitting behind this tower. He does have a little bit of health yet again from EGM. Bulba not too far off, and they will not pursue after they throw out an Ignite from Cupcake return.
Yeah, I'm going to assume that's, you said it's, what's his name?
MJW.
MJW.
Yeah. Bananas in your face, I believe is his other name.
Sing Sing spotted by Cupcake. That's what I'm going to call him. I'm too dumb to trying to multitask with names. Cupcake spotted Sing Sing, and that sends him running. In the meantime, at bottom, Ush did hit level 6. So his damage output has gone high, and Fogged is actually getting very close to level 6. So a quick 6 on Fogged. You know, he should have it by about 7.5 to 8 minutes in. If he's able to do that and get a little bit of priority, they're going to be in a wonderful situation, especially with Snaking getting close to Arc Boost.
Nice deny from Sing Sing. It's pretty big, actually, when they pushed that tower and rotated Fog down there to push it, but they couldn't get the tower secured. In the meantime, though, Fog, he only has 2 CS, but he's got 2 kills. He's TPing top to maybe lend some assistance to Snaking. He should be fine, though. He does have a Ravage. Yeah.
Like, they had Snaking completely hemmed up. He was blocked 100%. They just didn't have the right click.
Ooh, they can kill Pycat here. They have a Ravage up.
Yep, he'll use it. EGM's going to come over. He'll pop it soon. There it is. EGM wandered right into it. If they spot him, they might have been able to follow, but no. EGM unable to get the fissure off in time. That's going to be the Arc Boots done for Tidehunter now. And Fogged, once again, coming up on level 6. He hits level 6. He and Drow are going to be able to start going to town. This Wind Ranger, I feel like this hero needs a buff so badly. I just don't even know what you want to buff. Like, it's just so hard. Anytime, even when it's played well, I feel like when it's played well, you get a bit more out of it, but I still don't know that it justifies it. Like, a well-played Wind Ranger is not equal in most situations to a well-played other mid-hero with mobility.
Yeah, well, I think they picked her just because she's one of the few heroes that can actually do okay against Razor. Like, she has one of the best attack animations in the entire game. There is a bottom ulti here. Ush is probably going to get killed here if he gets caught into it. Yeah, call. He is dead.
Oh, wow.
So, nice rotation from there, using the bottom ulti now liberally and early on. But I agree with you. I think that Wind Ranger's a little on the side of not that great. And I really like it when Wind Runners, or sorry, it's Wind Ranger. When Wind Rangers get Blink, because I think that the hero is picked and most effective around the shackle shot. And I think creating the best possible scenario to where you can get an accurate shackle shot is the best way to play her, and I think Blink helps you with that. So, curious to see what Korok goes. He's got treads right now with the Bottle Crow, and so yeah, 700 gold under his belt.
I guess the other thing that's to mention is it is a Drow Ranger, and you're going with a core Wind Ranger, which means she can do stuff like build Maelstrom or what have you. I actually really like the Maelstrom build on a core Wind Ranger. And then you have Drowzar and a helper, so she actually makes sense in that regard. So, I'm not saying it's bad. I feel like the hero just needs a little bit more help. Ice Frog, please. Tier 1 in mid, under assault. Fog lose a bird? No, they're Anyway, he actually ran EGM completely out of top lane with just the birds. I was watching that while you were talking a moment ago. Ran him all the way back to his tier 2 even. And so Fogged already being a nuisance with these familiars. In the meantime, bottom tier 1 drops. So they want to at least trade even. There's going to be a nice fissure. Good shackle on the Koikva, though. Do they have the damage to follow it? There's going to be... Oh, they didn't even need the soul assumption. Got him with a power shot. And being able to pick that Razor off for free there, and it cost you nothing is such a big deal, even if they don't get the tower right this second.
It's also nice that Korok gets haste rune up there too. They're really forcing this tower, and I think this is a good decision just because they know that Axe was probably not going to have Blink yet. And I don't think they want to fight in engagements once he gets Blink, because if he Blink calls on the Drow, a lot of their fight just goes to crap because they lose out on the aura. So I really like this decision by Na'Vi US, and this is a different Na'Vi US than I've seen in weeks prior, honestly. Their rotations of their supports are way better. Their drafts are different and working. Yeah, I really like the way that they're playing so far.
Well, they're just playing with that level of confidence. You know, they have that strut to them. They don't seem to be hesitating very much, even whenever maybe they should. I mean, we saw last game a couple of plays of that Ravage from Snaking, for example, where they just went for it. And, you know, sometimes it doesn't work out, but more often than not, Dota favors the bold.
Sure, yeah. No, that's a very good statement, and I agree with that.
4-2, Na'Vi US doubling up Team Tinker, but we look at the efficiency and the towers. It is Na'Vi US's lead right now. They're going to try to do something again with Moonlight Shadow, and if there's one thing that Tinker is so good with, it is using Sing Sing's Moonlight Shadow. When they put him on the Mirana, it is rare that they are not using it every couple of minutes when it's off cooldown. They love to break the map open with it, and they're very effective at it. This time, though, they're going to go fishing and find nothing but the bottom of the pond.
Something was purchased here onto the Windrunner. Is this a four? Okay, it's a 4-staff. Totally fine. I think that still helps the whole idea of trying to get into a better position for a shackle shot. Can he get this one? He can!
Oh, great shot. Familiars are right there, and Bulba's mad. They're going to end up losing a Familiar in the meantime, but that's just a nice play. And I can just hear Bulba in my head right now. Like, I can just see, and I'm sure you know Sam pretty well. I'm sure you can hear it too. 5-2. Na'Vi US just keeps pouring it on. And Tinker has the tools. They just got to get it all together, man. Right now, it just feels like they're just a little bit too far. Like, and they're not even far behind is the thing. It just feels like their items are coming out, you know, 2 minutes too late. Their ganks aren't working at, you know, they're putting pressure on, but they're not securing the kills, you know?
We'll see how effective this Axe can be against this Visage and whatnot. The scary thing is they have really nice kiting tools against the Axe if he doesn't get a perfect initiation of like 3 heroes. Frost Arrows is amazing, Ignite's amazing, Brave Chill's amazing. Just the sheer damage is going to cut through him like, oh man.
Fun sequence at bottom. I was watching it. He almost killed Sing Sing and was literally, could not have been more than 10 milliseconds late with a power shot to kill him before he TP'd out, but then the response was there and had his head split open. Snaking has Ravage, and they're still committed to this. This is going to be a 4-on-5 if they wait it out too long. And they've got to be careful. They know that Axe has a blink, or at least they should know by now. They are going to try to extricate themselves. Behind that, though, we're going to have a static link on the Snaking, and they got the Courier kill. That is crippling. They lose their Tide. They had just lost Korok, and now they lose their Courier. And they just hung around way too long, man. Way too long.
There was some miscommunication there. Like, Snaking wanted to go in with the backside because he knew that heroes were still kind of bottom, straggling in. And the rest of his team was literally just all running away. So there was just some clear miscommunication right there. Pretty big deal, too, because Snaking was 200 gold away from his blink. And now this is going to put him about 600 gold away.
At the very least, nothing on the Courier. And it just dropped something off. So it could have been worse. But Tinker looks like they're ready to pour it on. Taking a look at Razor's build. Looks like he wants to go straight up BKB, as you had mentioned. And I dig it. I dig it against Na'Vi US's lineup. They have a lot of right-click for sure, but just being able to take stuns out of the equation is going to be big. But they can't take the Ravage out. It's not done yet. Sing Sing followed up on. He leaps. That was weird. Looked like he wasn't going to make it to the other side, but did. There's a solo assumption. They get Koikva again. Now Moonlight Shadow, they're going to reinitiate with Pycat. And the Mystic Flare there to help making it a 1-for-1. So they trade mid for mid. The tower still stands. And who do you think came out ahead there? I actually feel like that's probably in favor of Na'Vi US.
Pycat's initiating onto Ush with a nice call. Here comes a TP in from Sing Sing. If he can play his cards right, Ush might be okay, but the damage is coming out. Starstorm double proc doesn't happen. Has an arrow in just a little bit if you can find the right opening. Maybe auto attacks are just going to be easy enough, and there it is. The slap chop here from Pycat as he does rack up another kill.
Oh, Bulba makes it away. EGM not so lucky at top. They had to pick a target, and it was Bulba who managed to slip away. EGM 0-1-3. It's his first death of the game. Has up his arc boots, so not bad. Saw him come close to dying to Visage Familiars a couple of times at top. But that death on Ush, kind of a big deal. Do you feel like the Drow Ranger's really getting enough work done now? She's going S and Y, by the way.
I think she's doing just fine. Like, she's split pushing when she needs to. The Axe is getting some nice initiations on him, though. Cupcake return getting hit by a concussive shot. But I don't think she's getting enough done, but it's not terrible. Like, the blink is coming up onto Snaking right now. Acid, actually. He's taking out a stack. That last initiation from him, it seemed good. It was like, wow, we got a lot. It was actually a 4-step from Korok to initiate. To just push him in, but couldn't follow up with just quite enough damage. Like
Pycat lands at top, and he's going to go ahead and jump on Cupcake. There's a Mystic Flare to follow it.
God.
Easy peasy, as Pycat is now on a dominating streak. 4-2 for him after giving up first blood early on, so he certainly bounced back and had the impact he wants. We're at 7-7, and we can see gold lead still marginally in favor of Na'Vi US. One thing I do like, I don't know, it's so tough to call. If we get into like 40+ minutes, which team do you think scales better late?
Oh, solo kill actually onto Ush in the jungle there with an arrow coming from Sing Sing. So pretty big deal. That's really massive. He just died too. And there's an engagement actually up top. Nice shackles on the Pycat. And there's, oh no, that's what I'm talking about. Bird's down.
Yep.
That's so unfortunate there for Fogged.
200 gold.
Yeah.
Very handy dandy.
In the late game, Team Tinker has a lot of utility in their team. Like, they have good initiation. They have good pushing with Razor. You know, they have the Earthshaker to kind of disjoin a fight if he needs to. Not going to have a blink anytime soon, but I don't know. It's hard, man. It goes both ways. Like, Drow is really strong late game. Tide never loses his effectiveness. Visage is very farmed. Fogged is 5-0-2 and actually has an Ags up in 800 gold, but he has to be very careful. As we just saw, those birds die in a second to the blink call.
Looks like both teams ready to settle down a little bit. Tinker coming out slightly ahead in terms of hero exchanges on the last few sequences, ganks, and so on. Fogged, as you said, though, is really looking to be good. They're going to have that BKB up on Razor very soon, though, about 400 gold. Looks like they know where Sing Sing is. He's going to use Moonlight Shadow, and let's see if they can do anything off of it. Ush?
Random sentry, perhaps? By Cupcake? He did just leave.
It's possible. Wow. Pycat, in the meantime, gets himself a kill there. Sing Sing will be able to TP out, and Pycat is just doing work on this Axe, who, again, has answered with 5 kills. After giving up first blood, Koikba going to be solo ravaged. Do they have the firepower? They do. This is going to delay his BKB a little bit. More than a little bit, actually. A few hundred gold. And Pycat has a haste rune, so got to be careful of that. But let's see. Yep, he's going to manage to find Fog. Good kill. Delays Fog's Scepter in response. And Snaking. The one up front, the Familiars did still survive all of that. They have a glyph available if they want to use it. And it's going to be Cupcake who spots out EGM. Coming down the hill, there's going to be a TPN. Looks like they're ready to fight. There's going to be a gush on the EGM. Fissures there. Caught 3 heroes with that. Well shot that time, however. Ush on the high ground. Raining down cold fire. And making it a 2-for-1 in the last minute or so. Let's see how hard they want to press now. 20 seconds until EGM is back up. But, you know, I actually feel like these exchanges are continuing to favor Na'Vi US. They are getting the kills on the heroes they need. They have done a great job on the side of Tinker in killing Ush off. He's just 1-3. But he's still hitting so damn hard just because it's a Drow that it's really mattering that much.
Well, I think in actual 5v5s, if they initiate properly with the Tidehunter too, like, that's going to be enough space for the Drow Ranger to do her thing, and Visage to, you know, use a couple Soul Assumption nukes. I was going to mention one other thing about that fight, but oh no, that was a nice streak gold actually there. Ended for Bulba. Onto the Visage. So, oh, he must have been like 20 gold away from his Ags actually before he died. He has it just now. Won't be able to resummon for another 60 seconds, but that's not terrible. So, Ags sub 20 minutes for Fogged. And I've seen some stat, I don't know it off the top of my head, of like, of all Visages that get Ags before like 23 minutes, it's like an 80% win rate or something like that. But
I'd believe it.
Yeah.
Ush, gonna be gone on again. Pycat and Koikva catch him. And he gets the gust off, and he's gonna be able to make it away. That's a very heads-up play there. They are gonna take the tower off of it all. I don't think they're going to glyph to save it. They are, surprisingly. And in mid, they're going to be able to shove, but Pycat coming back, and the tower's going to end up dead regardless. Fog going to be engaged upon. Cupcake's there, though. Hits him with a fire blast. Let's see if they have the damage to follow it up. And none from Tinker. They may get Cupcake. Oh, ran right by him. Didn't have enough mana for call anyway. It was off cooldown, but didn't have the mana, so irrelevant.
Well, that's a lot of things that could have gone badly for Navi US that didn't really. Like, all they lost, essentially, was a tower. Up top. It could have been a kill onto the Drow, and a tower kill, and a kill on the Visage, but they were able to mitigate 2 of those deaths. So, nicely done by Navi.
21 minutes in, and the item progression on Navi really beginning to get itself in gear. It's going to be a Yule's picked up after the Force Staff for Navi US. Already a Blink and a Force and Arcs and a bottle on Snake King. He just suddenly filled his inventory. And Earn is up on Cupcake with some brown boots. S&Y and now BKB build seems to be coming from Ush as he's added the Ogre Club. The Axe, though, has finished a Crimson Guard, which I actually think is going to be very good against what Navi is going to be up to. Like, it's almost like a perfect item against their entire composition. So if they need to try to get the Axe or at least kite that item out. Because once it's activated, their damage output is not going to feel very impressive at all.
Navi US really wants to fight with Ravage. Shackle shot off the mark from Koikva. Koikva does have his 10-second BKB ready to go, hasn't used it yet. And yeah, they really want to fight right now. They're just grouping up and not really separating. Snake King's like, screw this, we're not finding anything. I'm going to look in the jungle. I heard an arrow. I think it hit a creep. Yeah, it hit a creep.
Ush is happy to just peck away and be bait. Once he gets a BKB, he's going to feel so much more safe doing this. And it looks like now they want to retreat. There's a smoke. Is that a smoke? Yeah, it is a smoke. Coming from Team Tinker. And they're going to run right into Ush. Great find for them, as they should be able to finish him off quite easily. He is beginning to feel more and more tanky, but just good movement and good anticipation of where he was going to be. 4 on 5 if they want to try to defend. And there's an arrow right into the face of Cupcake. Turns around with the fire blast. There's the Ravage to save him. They're going to get Sing Sing and maybe Koikva. Cupcake is very low. Soul Assumption damage, not quite enough. Cupcake has to go high. There's a nice fissure that catches Fogged, however. Now the Echo Slam, and once again, Pycat dropping the hammer. They lose Bulba. Now a Shackle on the EGM. Power shot from the Wind Rangers. They're going to try to follow this up. There's the Crimson Guard activated, though. Koikva still sitting at about half health. Now wants to turn it around. Has a static link onto Snaking. And there's going to be the Yules taking Pycat out of things for a minute. Still, the kill takes place, and beautiful call that gets 2 of those. Now a Shackle. Do they have the damage? This will be a kill streak that they can end if they can grab him. Ush is there, gusts him down, and Pycat has to know he's dead. That's a great kill streak end, and it's actually Visage who ends up getting the kill. So a buyback, I'm pretty sure, out of the Drow Ranger there. No, he actually just respawned. So
yep.
I thought Ush bought back, but I guess he was down long enough that it didn't matter. Either way, what looked to be a sure win for Tinker comes out a little bit closer to even than I think they would have liked.
Yeah, nice gold there for Visage. I'm sure that Fog will like that because he's lost, like, what, 6 birds or something to the Axe? It's really annoying, and if you watch the way he has to position his birds, it kind of just takes him out of the fight almost, even when Axe isn't really doing anything. So
yep.
I would say at this juncture, like, maybe he just starts to split push and farm. Like, they just start splitting up the map, waiting for Ravage, only fighting with Ravage, and then trying to get pickoffs with that rather than just a 5v5 engagement, because it kind of takes away the effectiveness of the Visage hero, even with, like, and you want this because you're pairing it up with the Drow. It's very, very good. So when you lose those birds, you lose up a big portion of what he drafted.
Bad call from Sing Sing. Wandered in, tried to be aggressive, took a shot with an arrow, whiffed, and died because of it. Up at top, we're going to have a Shackle on the Bulma, and Korok gets a solo kill and Force Staffed away from a fissure from EGM. So Korok, being a one-man wrecking crew, improves his record, now getting closer to 500 in terms of KD. Snake King right on the tail of Koikva along with Fog. They're not going to have enough to pursue him, however. Fogged, in the meantime, has picked up a plate mail. And what do you think for him? Do you think a Shiva's, or did he think maybe a little bit more about a Assault Cuirass?
It's either is fine, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I would say Assault Crash is probably better because if they get an opening to push, the negative armor on the buildings is going to do one. Actually, Cupcake returns dice right there to Pycat. But yeah, if they have just a couple of seconds of an opening on an unglyphed building with the negative armor on the AC with Drow and the aura and everything, I think that's going to be very beneficial. So
Sing Sing could be a target, and Korok, nope, didn't get the shackle. Had a chance at it, but very quick reaction from Sing Sing keeps him safe. Blade Mail done on Axe now. There's a blink finally finished on EGM's Earthshaker. And Perseverance done on Snaking, so working his way up to a refresher. Fog spotted out in mid. Arrow shot. Not sure. I guess Sing Sing just anticipating someone would be there. Or perhaps that Fog broke in a different direction. But his arrow's now on cooldown. Here come a couple of Tide Illusions. And Sing Sing realized it, but there is quite a bit of personnel not far away. And Visibility Rune spotted in the top rune spot. And it feels like Na'Vi is looking for an opening, but I think Tinker's doing a good job of not really giving them one.
yeah, and I haven't really felt Razor too much in these fights so far. He's popped one BKB. He's close. Actually has his axe if he wants it, and he'll have level 16. So this is going to be a big surge of fighting power for the Razor. So maybe we'll be able to see Koifa do a little bit more in these fights. Action actually up top. Bulba taking so much damage from those Visage Birds. My God. But here comes Axe. He's got to spread him out. Oh God, no. He actually resummons really nicely. He lost one, I believe, but
yep.
Yeah, not too bad there for Na'Vi.
Now this is the situation that Na'Vi wants to be in. They've drawn all this attention to the top. In the meantime, they have their two ranged heroes. The Wind Ranger and the Drow Ranger pushing mid. This top tier 2 is very low, just outside. Nope, never mind, it is deny range. Thought it was just outside. Sing Sing will deny this. And this is the situation, and you know, they want to avoid that situation of being split push to death. BKB's done on Ush now, and that's actually a pretty big pick. Ravage is ready as well. Moonlight Shadow's there, and they know it. They want to back up and regroup. There's an arrow. Ooh, barely missed Snaking. Now we're going to see Koifa using his BKB, but look at the damage he's taking. The range damage from the birds and from Ush is just tremendous. He's sucking a lot of right click from Tide. Tide doesn't care. Does care that he whiffed a Ravage, but that's okay. And now EGM gonna be cleaned up behind the fight. And that bird actually just ate that arrow too. And that's something worth mentioning. The birds can't eat the arrows.
Oh no, Pycat blinked in, tried to get the call on Korok, missed it, and got stuck in the trees. Do they even know it? He shot a power shot to the left, but no, they don't even know it. Oh, and he's just gonna blink out and be fine. What the hell?
Odd game. Dota is in odd game. Pycat makes it away, and we'll retreat now. But another win for Na'Vi US. And this is where you have to be concerned if you're Tinker. I mean, your item progression, again, I feel like they should be doing a lot better than they are. And to tell you the truth, Snaking did nothing that fight. He whipped his Ravage. All he did was basically feed the Razor some right click. And that was a good silence from Bulba. That might keep him alive. Nope, not quite. Yeah, it does, actually. Now behind that, Pycat tried to go in on Ush. Now they're going to try to turn this around. He has his Blade Mail proc. There's a fissure. Only caught Korok, though, as the BKB saved Ush from it. Now Koifa just being pecked away from distance. Fogged is out by himself. Check that. He's got Cupcake out to the flank. Arrow's going to be off the marker. Fogged will be hemmed up and most likely brought down. Snaking. Long way away from another Ravage. And he's actually going to gush and get Koifa to BKB. That's a bad fissure from EGM. Never mind. Pycat can jump it. They may end up giving up EGM because of it, though. Crimson Guard deployed on Pycat, eating a lot of damage, and Fog doing a lot of damage to himself, but Snaking there, not done. Korok looking for a target with a power shot, unable to find it. Koifa in the meantime trying to withdraw to his own tier 3. And Arrow caught Snaking. Shackle does catch Pycat, but with Snaking hit with the arrow, not reliable to follow it up. But once again, as good as that looked for a moment for Tinker, I think that Na'Vi just won the exchange. I mean, they give up 1 in exchange for 2. Then they, like, the 2 they got were the Earthshaker and the and Bulba. Like, I feel like just so slowly but surely, Na'Vi is nickeling and diming themselves a decent lead against Tinker. And yeah, you can see that in the graph. It's up to about 7,500.
Yeah, and I feel like this Razor just can't do anything. Like, you know, yeah. I really love this blink pickup by Korok too. And every single time this blink call comes out from the axe, Korok is just using the axe. Very effective. It's similar to like a duel Like if you're facing against a Legion commander, you just yules him up in the air and he can't do anything. It's kind of a useless initiation.
Yep.
They're spreading them apart, and again, this Drow is being effective against the Razor. I just don't think Razor's doing anything in these fights.
I think Bull, yeah, they got eyes on this. They're going to check the ward spot here, but they're not going to check the high ground one. Sing Sing lets an arrow fly. Going to be behind Roshan, and they're going to go ahead and exit.
Oh, nice. It's an assault caress here. I approve of this by Fogged.
Yeah,
I think this is the right decision.
I totally agree with you. Well, just think how tanky. Dude, look at his armor. Are you serious? 45 armor?
Yep.
He's 1,600 HP and 45 armor. I mean, he's only like 250 HP below the Axe, who has built pure survivability with Crimson Guard and Blade Mail himself.
Pretty good, pretty good. But yeah, like I said, just watch if they get an opening on these buildings. They're going to crush through them. Actually, if they get an opening with full damage up on the birds and Drought Aura activated, my god, they will burst anyone down. Any single hero down.
Smoke on the way. And there's the Moonlight Shadow to cover it. They're going to be coming in from the left side.
They have a sentry if they get some kind of vision up there. Yep, they're going to get it.
Oh, here we go. There's the Ravage. Immediately got 3 of them. And they're going to turn back around. They got a Gust and a 2-man Shackle. They're trying to focus down Pycat as soon as possible, and he'll end up dropping easily. That's 2 down in a blink, in a flash. Make it 3. As Na'Vi US, bold and prepared. Oh, wow. Korok just finished off another one. I didn't even see that he was chasing anyone. I was watching them push the tower. 4 down. And a disastrous fight.
Watch his building. Watch his building. It's going to die so fast.
Yeah. Putting it mildly. Pycat bought back. He can't do anything. Like, he can get in the way is the extent of what he's going to be able to do here. There's a Gust that's off the mark. Arrow actually just whiffed through the entire crowd. Sing Sing's going to be caught with the Fire Blast. Korok's going to catch him with the Yules. And look at this. Oh, no. Actually, Sing Sing taking a step forward. I don't think it's going to matter, though. Yep, damage output too high.
It's his game, man.
Yeah, that's ball game. 2 racks down. And Pycat going in for one last hurrah. Here's EGM as well, looking for an Echo Slam, but can't even get it off. What a shame. And GG should be forthcoming. What a series. Yeah, there it is. What a series this was for Na'Vi US. I mean, let's be honest. Team Tinker is favored in the vast majority of matchups they find themselves in. If not outright favored, they're at least considered a team that's going to compete with no matter who it is. Doesn't matter if it's Secret, EG, Na'Vi. You know, these teams that are oftentimes, at least right now, maybe given a little bit more credit than Team Tinker. But they came into this heavily favored over Na'Vi US. And to be honest, Na'Vi US just schooled them. It didn't even look hard. They just outplayed them. And Ush has played ridiculously well in both games. An 18-year-old who we all have heard his name at some point, but just getting the backstory from Charlie. Sitting at 18 years old, only been playing competitive Dota for 6 months, and he's already competing at this level. If Na'Vi US doesn't sign him, somebody damn sure will.
Yeah, really. And I just love the drafts, too, from Fog. Like, the last game was awesome. Huge burst heavy with Zeus and AA Global. And then the Wraith King last pick was really, really ingenious. This game, it's awesome. It's so crazy to see that you can just pick Drow Visage at any stage of the game, and it will be effective no matter your lineup. Because it looked a little weird with the, picking it after a Tide Ochre. It's like, oh, okay, this is kind of weird. It doesn't really synergize as one might think, but it still worked very nicely. Like, Drow Visage is always effective. And the biggest thing is that Fog got really good early farm early on. Like, he had 5 kills in the first 10 minutes or something like that. And with having an AG sub 20 minutes, the stat doesn't lie, apparently, that the victory is pretty assured once you have a relatively fast AG in the Visage. So, nicely played by everybody, and I just really liked Fog's drafting today. I really did.
Yeah, I think Fog played phenomenally well. Drafted really well, and seeing him mature into a leader, more of a leader even than he already was, is a real pleasure to see as well. And Snaking whiffed a couple of Ravages in Game 1 and Game 2, but for the most part got the job done. It's always so fun to watch Snaking play just because he is so aggressive, and you can always count on him to leap first and look later. And sometimes it blows up in his face, sometimes it works out. This time it worked out. Really enjoyed Korok's Wind Ranger out of mid as well. A hero, again, we were kind of chatting back and forth, wondering where she sits in the current meta and whether she needs a buff, but Korok shows, hey, the hero is still plenty good so long as you've got an excellent composition drafted around her. All right, guys, that's going to be our first best of 3 done for the day. Navi US blanks Team Tinker 2-0 and gets themselves a great win to start out their D2L Season 5 Western campaign. We've got another best of 3 coming up. Let's see, it's going to be about 40 minutes from now, give or take. At least that's the schedule. Of course, we still have to talk about servers and what's going on with Lux and all that. But if all goes to plan, it will be a CIS showdown between Virtus Pro Polar as well as Empire. So make sure you stay tuned for that, and make sure you hit follow here on twitch.tv/D2L. Not just going to be this week. We're talking forever. Literally forever. I'm immortal. Tralf's immortal. We'll be here forever, bringing you Dota as long as we possibly can anyway. And all of our D2L Season 5 action, of course, found right here on this channel, and all of our future D2L events as well. So if this is your first time and you enjoyed the show, make sure you do hit follow, because we want to have you back each and every time we bring the stream live. You can also find Tralf and myself online. I'm at AC on Twitter, at AYESEE. He's at TralfDota, TRALFDOTA. And of course, for all of your updates from the D2L,